Hello and welcome to episode 88 of Codebase Alpha. So after a nice little break last week for Easter, we're back and we're back looking at the old school text adventure. So I'm going to continue from exactly where we left off last time, which was we were looking at refactoring how combat works in the game. Now combat, it's a bit of a fancy term. It's basically attacking creatures or attacking objects. At the moment, that's all kind of worked based upon the item that you're going to use to attack. So what we're doing is moving away completely from that concept or expanding that concept and now starting to put how objects respond to being attacked on the actual objects themselves, the items, the creatures, whatever. That's quite a major kind of refocusing of how that's going to work. So we're going to kind of continue with that idea and see how far we get. We might not get it working in this episode, I'm not sure, because I think there's quite a few challenges, especially around our wandering monsters. But let's go and have a look in the code. So here we are, and this is a comment that I made last time. I think we found during a bit of testing that if I typed in throw axe when I've got an axe in my inventory, it threw an exception in this method. So as kind of throwing axes is one of the things we want to be able to do, I think we ought to have a look at see what's going on there. So I'm going to put a breakpoint in there. I'm going to run the bot, so we'll get a notification in the chat that the bot is running. And then I'm going to join the adventure game, and we will see when we throw an axe what happens. So we need to teleport into the dungeon before we get the axe, because we have a test teleport command which we can use. That's going to start the bot now. So the bot's running, and now we can bring up. In this case, I'm going to use the Slack client again. Remember that our bot is a Slack, Discord, and a Twitch chat bot. So it runs in all three of those environments. In fact, it's joined to all three at the moment. But we're going to go with Slack. It's got a nice dark mode, so we can doesn't kind of glare. So let's type ADV for the adventure game, and we should join the adventure. And the bot's gonna whisper me a message. So here's the alpha bot here, and it's saying that we're at the end of the road with this mailbox, and there's a building and there's water. So let's go into the building. So in order to actually go in, we're going to type ADV and then go in, and we're going to take everything that's in the building. So there's a lamp and there's some food and stuff in there. So we're going to say take all, and it'll list out what we get. So a key, a lamp, a glass pot, and some food. We're going to light the lamp. So this is going to be fairly kind of we're going to do this an awful lot this evening. So this is our kind of ritual to start off, and we're going to do a teleport here, and we should end up at the troll bridge we've been working on. So just to show you where we're going to appear in the dungeon, here's a map, and we're going to appear on the south side of this chasm by this troll bridge. We should see there's a troll on the bridge and things like that at the moment. So we coded the troll last time, so we have to give the troll some treasure, and then it goes away for I think it's about five moves, then comes back. So we did all that last time. That seems to be okay. Didn't do an awful lot of testing, but it did seem to basically work. So let's now go and teleport into that location in the dungeon. So if we need to do ADV teleport like that, we should arrive at the southwest side of the chasm. If I do a look here, we should see that we are indeed in the place I expected, by the cavern on the one side of a troll bridge, and we are faced with a troll. So I'm going to just play some music, I think, because it's time for some music to code by. This isn't the actual music to code by. This is Relax Daily, which is one of the musicians I like to listen to when I'm coding. So this is a selection of 3 royalty-free tracks, but there's 120 odd tracks which are part of the Relax Daily kind of back catalogue. Okay, so if you look at our inventory, ADV inv, we should see we have an axe. We have a small axe, as you can see here. We have a small axe. So if I do ADV throw axe, I think last time we found it threw an exception, so let's see if it does it still. So here we are in our code, let's just step in. So it says if item is dwarf, that's true. The item isn't a dwarf at this stage, so the actual issue is with, seems to be with the axe itself. Let's step into here, and it throws at this point, so it's saying there isn't a monster manager, because we're not expecting to have to pass in a monster manager at this point. Okay, so let's go and have a look at that bit of code. So let's stop that. So we want to look at the axe itself. So we might have to kind of patch up this piece of code. Let's see where we are. So little axe. So this is the piece of code we want. And here we're not passing a monster manager in to here. So we need to pass in here the monster manager, which might be running the dwarves. So we can have several monster managers. So there's the wandering monster controls. We've got two at the moment. We've got one for the dwarves. There are 5 or 6 of those, and then there's a pirate who comes and steals your treasure, and that's another wandering monster manager. But we need to pass that monster manager in at that point. Okay, so let's try that again, and we should actually then not have that that exception. We can see what happens. So we have to go through, unfortunately, through the whole rigmarole of entering the game again. But never mind. That's the way we've designed it to work, and it doesn't take us too long to go in there. So ADV go in, ADV grab all. And then we're going to do ADV light lamp and ADV teleport. Okay, so now we're going to try ADV throw axe again. So we now should hit our breakpoints. We're trying to see if there's a dwarf here to throw the axe at. So this is where we're going to have to make our combat a bit more generic. So we're going to step into here, and we should then return false. If we continue, we're going to test with the pirate. Is there a pirate here? So we continue there, and we come back. It says, I don't know how to throw an axe. Can you be clearer? So that's not quite how it's supposed to work. So the axe doesn't seem to be of much use in this particular situation. It's quite a good message to come back with. However, what we really want is if you throw the axe at the troll, it's going to take the axe and throw it in the chasm. Or maybe keep the axe. Maybe it should keep the axe and stow it away in its treasure. I think it'll throw it into the chasm, I think. So we need to sort that out. But we have fixed the immediate problem of that exception that was getting thrown. So we can now clear that comment away. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about how we're going to actually do combat with these monsters. So we've got our attack command. When we invoke it, we ask what if they only say attack, then we say, well, what do you want to attack? And if they say attack dwarf, attack troll or whatever, then we actually do the attack. Now the way that this needs to work is really you need to say attack troll with axe. Okay, with a weapon. If you don't say anything, we want it to ask you, do you want to attack with your bare hands, yes or no? Okay, and if you say yes, then in most cases that's going to be disastrous. There is a kind of a trick in that if you attack the dragon with your bare hands, you win. and you lose if you're trying to attack with any kind of weapon at all. So let's go and have a look at the dragon and see what that's all about. Okay, so the dragon is an item. We want the live dragon, not the dead dragon or the rotting dragon. So let's go and look at the live dragon. And the way that I kind of coded this was via what's called an interaction. And interactions really shouldn't be on creatures. Interactions should be with items you can actually interact with. Whereas here we get kind of kill dragon as an interaction with a dragon, and that doesn't really make an awful lot of sense. So we need to try and sort that out. So you can see here we have an interaction which is we have an interaction with kill, slay, murder, or attack, and this is going to be replaced by our attack command. So attack dragon will be what we want to do at this point. And we ask, do you want to just use your bare hands? Okay, so that's what we want to actually send back to the player if they only have one argument. So else if args count equals 2, then we're going to do that. And it's going to be an else basically there, which will be if you have 3 arguments to the command. So here we're kind of looking for the pattern. We've got the to do there. This is going to be attack, target, and then optionally the word with or using, which is doesn't count as being an argument, and then item, and that item has to be a weapon. We need to kind of do that bit as well. But oh, Fuel Snowball, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Still working from home? Yes, I still am working from home. Yes, it's this is week 4 of lockdown, and also we've found that my son has got COVID-19, so we're a bit concerned about him. He's self-isolating in his flat at the moment, so it's getting quite close to home. So yeah, things are a bit kind of weird at the moment. But yes, looks like we're going to be in lockdown, working from home in lockdown till possibly May or June, maybe even longer. But working from home, I think I'm going to be working from home for the foreseeable future. There's no way I'm getting on a crowded train and going to Birmingham to go into the office. Not at the moment. Right, okay, so here so this is where we need to ask if they want to attack with their bare hands. So if the victim is actually here, we wanted to do here ask if with bare hands. And the reason why we want to do this is that the only place we ever ask this kind of question, do you want to attack with your bare hands, is with the dragon, and it's a bit of a giveaway. So that attacking the dragon with your bare hands is a solution to it's a wacky solution to the problem of the dragon. So we need to do it here, I think, and make it more generic. So in the dragon, we do all of this. Okay, so here we're adding a new interaction. This is where it's going to get difficult, I think, this part of our code. So you never know, we might have to come back to it. Okay, so we are doing an interaction at this point, which is a bit of a pain. This is almost like an interaction, a generic interaction on items, isn't it? So let's think about this. What can we replace this with? So this is code that was written quite a long time ago, so it's going to take me a little while, I think, to work out exactly what we did. So we asked this question. So let's ask this question of our player. So over in attack, this is where we want to ask that question. So we want to say player.chatClients post direct message to the player. And we want to ask that question. So that's the question that we asked. Do you want to use your bare hands? Do you just want to use your bare hands? This is where we need to be able to get a response from the player. Okay. So this is where we've got a target. Okay. So I think it's probably worth waiting to do this until we actually have a target. So let's have a look at that. So if we we found a target to attack. Let's print out that message to the user, to the player. What about you, FuelStab? Are you working from home still? How's things in Scandinavia? Is it all settling down a bit over there? I know that there's some easing of the lockdowns in some parts of Europe, so I wonder if that's happening in Scandinavia at all. Okay, so do you want to use a bare hand? And now we need to actually we need to be able to say yes or no. Okay, so when we were doing this, we added a state to the player, which is the kill state, which is basically attack, isn't it? So I think we'll do that to say that the player is asking to attack. Okay. Okay, so this could be interesting. So add player item state. What does that do? Go and have a look. So when we invoke that against the player, it gives them a state of kill. So let's use that concept. So the way we do interactions when we're not actually running an item is a bit odd, and it probably will have to be refactored at some point. FuelSnubber says Apart from working from home, it's pretty normal where you are. Social distancing is in the social contracts of Scandinavians anyway, right? So you ran a shader course for some of your friends yesterday. That sounds good. You built some decent effects. So I think that's a really good idea, and it might be a good idea for you if you can put some kind of YouTube course together. I think it would be a great idea. I don't know if you've got the ability to kind of record. Well, it's just a matter of recording your screen really, and then uploading it to YouTube. So it might be a really kind of good idea if you think about that. Especially if you've got a course you've already kind of caught in inverted commas that you've actually already run with some of your friends. Just get it videoed and put it on YouTube. Okay, so we want to create a new interaction. So this is going to be var. What should we call it? Attack state. So it's a new. What was it called? A new add player item state. We won't use kill. This will be the attack state. So we're in an attack mode basically. Let's bring this namespace in, the interactions namespace, and then we want to actually execute that command, that interactions. That's going to be attack state .do, and it's going to be the current player, and we need to pass an item in, and that item can be the target. It's not an issue at this stage. Okay, so we've marked up that the player is in attack mode, so it's asked to attack. So having done that, we simply had some yes or no's, didn't we? And so what we want to do here, what do we want to do here? We almost want this behavior against all items. You learned something pretty cool this morning. Oh, you wrote a bit of C64 basic, yeah. So I've got my the C64 upstairs. It hasn't done an awful lot since it arrived as one of my late Christmas presents, but I'm looking forward to getting back into some Commodore 64 basic and some 6502 assembler as well with it. Okay, so let's think about this. Do we want to register these interactions against all creatures or all things? So if I copy these and I go to adventure item, what have we got an adventure item? We've got an interact. I wonder if I can do something as similar as this. Let's add these namespaces in. So that's basically going to add a yes/no interaction. Yeah. It's going to add a yes/no interaction to everything. So this is so sure this is going to work, you know. It's read about true files. The program was included, right? Interesting. I'm going to just remove that code and have a think about this, because this is a bit of a critical decision how we cope with this. So in the Dragon, it has these interactions. When we attack, is saying target attack. And we've set the attack. Do we even need that? So on the creature, on the attack, right, so let's have a look. So we're going to invoke the attack method on the creature. So on the Dragon, we do have so there's an overridden attack we could do with putting on there. So let's try that. Let's pop an attack on there. We're overriding the base attack method. And what do we want to do when we say attack? And basically we want to run these interactions, don't we? Yeah. So I wonder if we can run the interactions inside there. I think we probably can, you know. So we don't need to determine if it should execute, because we're actually going to invoke it. So let's pop that code in there. We're just going to return here. We can still get the interaction and set the verb is going to be, the interaction is going to be kill, isn't it? So almost we don't need this interact anymore. We don't really need think about this. So we're adding the kill interaction. So that's not the interaction we want. We definitely want the verb, don't we? So we've been stymied here. The pudding, welcome. Hello, good to see you. Don't get spitting loads of pudding in the stream, will you? Good to see you. Cheers. The kind of real issue we've got here is the interactivity of a yes or no. That's the main issue we've got. How do we detect they said yes or no? So what does our yes and no commands actually do? Let's have a look. Here's our yes command. So we're looking at an item and we're invoking the yes. We're invoking the yes interaction on the item. Okay. I think we're on the right lines. Not sure what you mean. Okay. I think we're going to have to try it and see what happens. I don't think we need this anymore. I don't think we need to set an attack state. Pardon me. So we've got the interactions on there. And if we do yes, we're going to do an item interact, yes. So that was that part. So, I think we're going to struggle here with the current architecture. What's the best way of approaching this, I wonder? Makes me wonder whether approaching the dragon in this way is the best option. Let's just remove that for now. Almost as if we want so this bit, all that's doing is what we're doing already. So it's almost as if that is superfluous now. So let's comment that out for a second. If we say the yes and no's, we're just going to invoke the yes or no interaction on the creature. dragon. So I think what we need to do, we definitely need to add this player item state of kill. We'll change it to attack. Like that. And then in the attack bit here, we'll reinstate, adding the attack item state. Okay, so when we do an attack, here we want to do pretty much what we do here. We want to yeah. I wonder what's going to happen. Do we try it? Let's go and change our teleport. So where do we want to go? We want to go to where the dragon is, and the dragon is here in this secret canyon. So we want to be in the secret east-west canyon. Let's point our teleport command, our kind of cheat command at that. And what was it again? I can't remember. It was the secret east-west canyon. So, oops. Secret east-west canyon. So we're going to go there now. We're going to have the axe with us, which we're not going to use just yet. Let's just go and see what happens when that's the thing to do. I think to go and see what happens. The problem is, it's gonna if it works on the dragon, then we're then going to make sure that things like asking yes or no, saying yes or no elsewhere doesn't do any unexpected actions. Let's see what happens. So what we'll do, we'll pop a breakpoint on our dragon in the interact. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, let's go and join the adventure. And we'll go into the building. Take everything in there. Light our lamp so we can see. We'll teleport. Have a look. What would you like me to do? ADV look. ADV look. So we want to go to the west. Let's look. Can't type as usual, so there's the dragon blocking our way. Dragon spawned on the Persian rug. There's a beautiful Persian. We're going to say ADV attack dragon. What's going to happen here? You want to use your hands? No. So we come into here. The verb is no. And we're going to do the no interaction. And it says I don't blame you. So let's now try again. ADV attack dragon. Do you want to use your bare hands? ADVES. In here again, let's remove that breakpoint and continue. And it says, congratulations. You've vanquished dragon bare hands. Unbelievable, isn't it? ADV, look. And we should see a dead dragon. There's the body of a huge dead green dragon. Green dead dragon line up to one side. So that bit worked. So I think we're okay with that. What we've done there, we've kind of managed to, so we don't actually, we do need an override here. The override doesn't actually do a lot, it just, all we're doing with the, okay, so do we want to put the message about, do you want to use your bare hands here? No, probably not. So attack, all it does is it sets the attack state and does an attack on the target. So this attack state here we need to make sure that that gets removed if you don't say yes or no. Okay. So what's the best way of doing that? If we don't want this attack state, this item state to persist. Okay, well, put it to doing. As a guarantee. This is so let's leave that as a question for ourselves. So now we've got the ability to attack the dragon. So it's almost if we want to, what we want to do is have a default interaction on items, isn't it? So we don't need this anymore, which is always good to remove some code. Let's expand our comments here so we know what that's all about. Don't like it being there though. So it's almost as if actually what I want is a yes and no. This is invoking an interaction on an item, and perhaps what I really want it to do is actually for each item that has really the first item that has it, isn't it? Yeah, this is not good code here. So the kind of the idea that we want to kind of get to is this yes and no should invoke a yes and no response on the objects again, and not so that there's a base. There is a base response to yes or no on any object, most of which is to completely ignore it. So let's do that, and let's see what we can. We need to know which item to invoke it on. So it's just yes or no. but we only ask questions of yes. So if someone says yes or no in out of context, and we just need to ignore it, don't we? So we only want to do yes or no. The answers yes or no are only really relevant to this question about do you want to attack with your bare hands, which is set here. Okay. Let's pursue that idea a bit further. So let's go to our iAdventure item, and when we say yes, I quite like my scripts. It's like a scripting language, this almost. Maybe the idea that we should actually build a scripting language into it eventually. So if it has a yes interaction, we run it. If it doesn't, we just ignore it. I'm not sure what you mean. Saying yes. Okay. Interactions.add no. So this almost seems like a generic answer. It's only when you answered yes is something different happening in this case. If you say yes, this is where, because you're the dragon. So is there any way I can I wonder if we can add this as a generic. I think we'll try that. Let's try that. Let's comment out that lot. And then on adventure item, do that. So that every item has that. Seems a bit hacky, doesn't it? Let's give it a go, see what happens. So we commented that bit out. I think this is one of those cases where it might be best to get it to kind of refactor it partially so that it's in a little bit better state, and then think about kind of not even a refactor, more like a rewrite of the functionality. Okay, let's make sure that piece of functionality still works. Go into the building. Grab everything. Report. Go west. So we attack the dragon, kill dragon. No. I don't blame you. So I'd say I don't blame you twice. Why does it say I don't blame you twice? So once coming from there, it shouldn't be coming. Oh, it's. Why does it say it twice? I don't blame you. Let's pop a breakpoint in. Oops. Breakpoint in there. Try that again. Oops. Slay dragon. ADV, no. So how many registered interactions we've got? We've got 2 a yes and a no, surely. Display, I don't blame you. So that's only 1. We're going to come back in here again. It says, and it says it again there. But it didn't come through into here. Okay. That's interesting. What's the no command? It's the same. Just do the no interaction. I think this is reasonable because it's doing something special. Have I got to remove interaction? So I think here I should be able to reset my interaction, shouldn't I? So on the adventure item, I should be able to just reset my interactions there. I don't want to do that, do I? I want to just... No, I don't want to do that. Because I still want the no. No, that might be okay though. Let's reinstate this and no there. Yeah. I don't know, I quite like the idea that we don't have that in there. Attacking something just try something. See what happens when we attack an innocuous item. ADV into there. So ADV attack mailbox. Do you want to use your bare hands? So we don't want to ask that question if it's not a creature, do we? We just want to print out why you're trying to attack a small mailbox. So I think that's one thing we need to do. So we only need to ask that question if it's a creature that we're facing. So in our attacks, we'll say if target, not his creature, then we do that bit. If it's not a creature, we're not going to bother. Okay. So, we still need to make sure we get this attack status removed. Not quite sure what the best way of doing that is, but yeah, this is kind of an instance where we know that we're going to answer yes or no to that question. Do you want to use your bare hands? So the player could put anything they want in there, and so if they put anything else other than yes or no, we need to kind of respond to it, don't we? I'm not exactly sure how to do that. So we'll part that. So let's put another to do in here. That's something we need to think about, and that's not going to be solved today. We'll kind of do happy path, well, a bit more happy path today when people do respond to do you want to use your bare hands, yes or no. Okay, so what we've got so far, we've got a dragon, which I think we can think about removing that. I'd like to know why it's printing I don't blame you twice. Because it didn't seem to go into here more than once. Oh, I bet it did the default interaction. So what's the difference here? If it's not in an attack state, we're just bailing out, aren't we? Whereas the other one, we just do it anyway. But we've overridden it on this object. Well, we can soon find out. Let's put a breakpoint here as well. I think it's going and doing it again there. Which is a bit of a shame. I'm not sure that's right. Okay, let's try it. The only way we can find out is by trying it. So I thought our dragon has overridden that. Okay. Let's get back into the adventure. Get everything. Lamp. Teleport to the dragon lair. Go west. Slay dragon. Let me say no. We've dropped through here. It contains yes or no. We continue, and now we've dropped into the what's being overridden. I wonder if we need that anything in that override. Can we just comment the whole of that shooting match out? So that interact doesn't do anything normally. So the other things we interact with, things like the bird, we interact with that, and we've got an interact. Overridden interact for that. So I think that might be the best thing to do. Let's just give that a quick go. So apologies to keep going backwards and forwards here, but we need to try and understand what's going on. Teleport to the dragon. Go west. Kill the dragon. Okay, no. And this time it's reacting correctly, which is okay. Not sure. I said I don't blame you. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. So why did it say? We've kind of gone from one extreme to another. So we've gone from. So it's come back with false. Let's return true. The interactions returned false. I'm not sure what you mean. So the interaction, we should just return true by default, shouldn't we? Because nothing bad's happened. It just didn't happen. We just got a yeah. So that's fine. We can remove that. Return true by default. So that should now. We can test that in a bit. Okay. Right. So that's the dragon. You can now lose that interaction. What happens if we just randomly say yes to things? Let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so here we are. Go into the adventure. Here we are at this end of there. We're going to say ADV. Yes. So, exclamation point ADV. Yes. No. Not sure what you mean. Oh, okay. So we said no. Didn't respond with anything. So, because everything's got a no on it, doesn't it? So let's go and have a look at that. So we kind of code ourselves in a bit of circles. But this added no. The default interaction no. Okay, that's a bit disappointing, isn't it? So what can we do about that? This is correct code now, rather than what we were doing before. ADV no now is going to give us, because it didn't have the state. Okay, I think what we want to do returning true, when we say no, we're going to run the no interaction, and if it didn't process, we're going to say I'm not sure what you mean. I think that is the default reaction here as well. Maybe not. No, it's not, is it? Because now it's going to print that. It's going to. What? Oops. An adventure item. So let's just put a bit of code in, which might solve the problem, and let's see if that actually gets us anywhere. So we're going to say if player dot services dot contains I don't like this, but if it doesn't contain that, then we're going to say that. It's not the kind of status. Player item state. It's not that kind of status. Let's have a look what this does. So it's putting it on the item, the dragon in this case. Okay, so we can't do what I was thinking of there. We can't do that. Getting more complicated than I really wanted. So here, if we say yes, it says, I'm not sure what you mean when you just say yes, that's fine. When we say no, we want it to act the same. Yet, I don't blame you is the correct generic response. Okay, let's just investigate this a bit more. Okay. Where's my Slack gone? There it is. So ADV kill mailbox. So that's correct. And now it says, well, you know what you're trying to do that for. So there's no yes or no. It's not a creature. So this is going to where this is going to fail is for the dwarves. But the dwarves are always going to be difficult. So we need to kind of park those to one side. So let's go and face the. This is where we just said ADV no. We're not getting. You're not carrying a lamp. I don't blame you. Yeah, so we've got some basic issues here. So what's on the lamp then? Because we're not doing. The parsing is a bit crude, isn't it? So I don't think having that default interaction is working. Okay, so let me think a bit more carefully about this. Okay, so we've got an iAdventure item. We can't have a default. We can't have this on anything other than that isn't a creature. So we've got iAdventure item, and dragon is inheriting from adventure item. I wonder if we can extend adventure item for adventure creature. Let's think about doing that. So what's happened here? Let's do that. Dragon. So let's have a new base class, a new class. That class is going to be. Here we have adventure item. Let's make a new class. New class. Call it adventure. Adventure creature. Okay. And that's going to inherit from adventure item. And we're going to say is creature is true for these. Like that. And okay, so then we can say that we're going to add. Oops. We're going to have that. We're going to have that added to it. Oops. Adventure creature has a default interaction added to it. Was this a completely mad idea? I don't know. So a dragon now it doesn't need is creature is true. It needs to inherit from adventure creature. Okay. But what else is a creature? Let's go and have a look. So we've got dead dragon isn't a creature. Dead snake isn't a creature. The bird's a creature. So the bird, the dead snake isn't, the dwarf is. The dwarf is the shortcoming of my design so far, but we'll have to face that as an issue. What's going on there? Locations, that needs to come out of there, doesn't it? So that is completely wrong. That needs to go into here. So adventure creature is going to be in adventure. Go back to the bird, dragon, Dwarf, creature. Then we've got Emerald First Great, Jewelry Keys, Lamp, Leaflet, Little Axe, Nugget Pillow, Pirate Chest, Platinum Rod, Rotting Dead Dragon, Shadowy Figure, Snake. That needs to inherit from Adventure Creature as well. Okay, and then we've got a Troll. Okay. But only creatures now have that interaction on them, the default interaction. So now, let's get rid of Snake, Troll, yes and no, and that. So now, we should have a slightly better situation than we did before. So here, go back into the adventure game. We say no here. Not sure what you mean. It's all. Now we've got a lamp which has interactions on it. Maybe no. Not sure what you mean. Maybe yes. What you mean. Okay, so it's only when there's a creature in the room, like the lamp. Teleports. Go west. Slay dragon. No, I don't blame you. ADV, no. Don't blame you. ADV, yes. Not sure what you mean. Oh, it's because I didn't ask a question. ADV. Kill dragon. Don't kill the dragon. So I'm not sure what you mean. Perhaps should be slightly different message. Let's just adjust that message. Let's stop. Go and just adjust that. So I think we made a good abstraction. Then we've now got some the ability to put some specific functionality of behaviours around creatures. So that was worthwhile. So with yes. Not sure what question you're answering. Let's stick with that. Do the same for no. Okay. So now we've got situations where we can attack creatures with our bare hands. So attacking the dwarf is we're gonna kind of park the dwarf for the moment because that's a bit more difficult. But what we've got to do is put some functionality in around the creatures which the other creatures which you might want to attack with your bare hands, and they're all going to be absolutely tragic if you do that. So in the items, let's go back to our dragon. So here is the functionality for yes. So what's the interesting thing that I find here is that why we manage to run both interactions run. So have I got a remove interaction? Let's have a look. So we got an interaction first of all match, haven't we? Yeah. So I think what we need to do is to yeah. So what we'll say is that if interactions dot count greater than 0, so still not sure this is the best way of doing this, but so we want to basically override the yes behavior. So if so this is once again. Let's do the simplest thing we can. And we'll tidy it up. That's not null. And what we're going to do is we want to do interactions. Let's not do that. Okay, let's just pinch the whole of this code. Okay, so let's look at each individual creature as we come across them. So go to our items. Okay, so this is a creature, and we should be able to attack the bird, shouldn't we? Okay. But what happens if we attack the bird? The kind of default I don't blame attack a bird with your bare hands doesn't really kind of apply here, and even if you attack it with your bare hands, it's going to escape anyway, doesn't it? So what is the order we do things? Maybe the bird shouldn't be a creature. So if the default attack action while you're trying to attack, that's not very productive. I think that's probably what we want to do. So let's make the bird not a creature, it's an item for now. So we can't attack the bird. So let's go. The other thing we can attack is the troll and the snake at the moment, and then there's also the dwarves and the pirate. The pirate you never really see, just steals your treasure. The dwarves are a problem, but snake. So currently, if you try and attack it, kind of get near to strike. So I think if you attack with your bare hands, then you're going to die, aren't you? So let's say the snake hisses and snaps at you. Okay. So if you attack the snake, no matter what, it's going to kill you. Dirty attitude, thank you. Those interfaces ensure those two methods, yeah, they do. What was the exact question, DOTA? Just had some dumb manager look. Oh, it's Link Slumps. If you've changed your name, hi Link Slumps. Good to see you. What's happened with your manager then? You get to micromanaged. There's nothing worse than being micromanaged. It is very, very poor. So, have you had a meeting with your manager? Yes, you need to give people the kind of freedom to explore things themselves, and you certainly don't want people standing over, looking over your shoulder everything you do. There's nothing worse than that. So what I do with my people is say, I've got this problem, I want you to solve it. These are the parameters you've got to solve it in. Go away and come back when you've got a solution. If you're running down rabbit holes and you can't find a solution, come back and ask me if I can give you another steer, or if we can discuss a range of solutions you might have come up with. But yeah, didn't even remember it being there. Anyway, you were talking to him today, and he said that part of the video really hit home. Oh right, interesting. So is that still an ongoing problem with you, Link Slumps? Is that you're still being micromanaged, or was that video kind of? It was great today. Well, that's good. So it was worthwhile showing the video then. But I think if you get into a situation like that, This is the time for the honest conversation. And remember, when you're in these kind of one-to-one meetings, you can ask for a one-to-one meeting with your manager as well. And they're supposed to be kind of frank and honest and constructive. So you haven't got to approach it. You're a terrible manager. You're micromanaging me. You can approach it in a positive way, saying you feel like you can have more autonomy. You can. Yeah, you need to tell him. Yeah, and if they take it badly, that's on them, not on you, because the whole point of one-to-one meetings or review meetings, whatever you have in your company, is to be honest, have an honest conversation. And if you've got problems with they should a good manager should always ask you, how you're following my management style. Am I a good manager for you? What can I do better to improve, my management of you? And sometimes someone say, I need more guidance, or some people might say, like yourself, I just need to be left to get on with things myself, and I'll come back to you if I need any help. Dodging it for a month, yes, it's. You see, another thing about that kind of what you're saying there is you are avoiding bringing it up for months. Is that you can find that sometime on managers, and they will not want to bring up issues they've got with you for months. And then what happens then is you get a review, your half year or your full year review, and they suddenly come out with a whole ream of things, complaints and negative things against you, and you say, well, when did this happen? They say, it happened last month or 3 months ago or last year. And your response will always be, but why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you tell me at the time so I could correct the situation immediately? So it's important to remember that your one-to-one meetings with your manager are a two-way conversation, and you've got as much right, and your comments carry just as much validity as your manager's comments to you, and I'm sure that's what it's like at your company. You have those honest conversations. But I think I don't know how long your manager's been in post. Sometimes it can be that that they're inexperienced themselves and feel like they need to be in control. Younger than you, okay, yes. So you can kind of see where that's going, can't you? And you've cleared the bad air now, so that's really good, yeah. But you can see that someone that's younger than you managing you, unless they're very confident, can feel like they need to, make their mark, as it were, and be seen to be managing, when often managing is taking a step back and letting your people and developers, so they're usually bright people, let them get on with their work, let them solve the issues, solve problems, innovate in their own way, and then come back to you when they've got questions, when they need you to, they've got an expense, they need you to sign a purchase order for something, or when they're stuck, when you're stuck. Yeah. So I'm glad you got it sorted, but make sure you don't let that happen again, and make sure that you have constructive meetings for both of you. Those, and your manager's probably learned something as well, so that's good. So we need to end the game at this point. Its fangs sink deep into your flesh. So ending the game. Can't quite remember how to end the game. Let's have a look. So when you fall down a pit, that's one way of ending the game. So let's have a look at move. Okay, so here we got player status is dead. If we can pop that in there. We've got game in here. Street game. End of game. So no matter what happens, you're going to be killed by the snake. So now we've got this thing about do you want to attack with your bare hands? So we need a yes interaction, just like we've got with the dragon. So we need to add one of these to the snake. Copper Beardy raiding with a party of 10. How wonderful! Let's have some raid. Hi, welcome raiders to Codebase Alpha. We're working on our text adventure, and I'm just doing a kind of a refactor, rebuild of how we do combat in the game. Welcome, Copper Beardy. Thank you for the raid. Very kind of you. Let's have some hyperspatial hyper. We're at it. The original jerk. Welcome. Oh, it's Chris Jones. Unfortunately, he had an unfortunate name change. Well, that is rather unfortunate. Niche Burton, thank you very much for joining. Good to see you. So we're working on the text adventure. It's based upon the 1970s Colossal Cave adventure, and I'm working on the kind of combat system. It's not really combat, but attacking things and just rebuilding the whole way that works. And there's quite a few challenges. So we've come a short way along that journey, and now I'm just needing to code what happens when you try and attack creatures in the game which are going to basically kill you if you attack you, or do non-standard things. The main creatures you can fight in the game, there's a dragon, which is a bit of a puzzle, and also there's some dwarves which you can fight. So we need to sort the dwarves out, but at the moment I just need to code the rest of the monsters, which basically can't be defeated. So like, put this in. So we need a yes interaction. So if you, what we want to do is we do that. So basically we want to say you lunge at the snake, trying to grapple with it. Okay, so the problem we've got here is that if you say no, you don't want to attack it with your bare hands, you're still going to attack it. Because we're going to call attack. Let's have a look here. So there. So if you say no, okay, so I think we can probably code around that concept. So the snake we're not going to remove. that attack interaction. Okay, let me think. Attack. So we're saying add a player item state. Attack. Add player item state. So what that's doing, that's saying we're passing an item in. Okay, what we need to do here, I think, is we need interactions on here, so we need to go and get our interaction code, which is this code here. We need that there. Let's bring in link. Yeah, it's still going strong. Okay, so if it doesn't have the state, doesn't have the attack, then it's going to bomb out at that point, which is good. Doesn't going to do anything. So here, where is it? Creature, adventure creature. We've removed that interaction there. Okay, so we need to test this out now, don't we? So we need, when we do our teleport, we need to actually go to the area where the snake is. Now the snake is here, the Hall of the Mountain King. So we need to go to the Hall of the Mountain King in our teleport test command. So let's do that. Hall Mountain King. So let's run the code up and see what happens when we confront the snake. So we can have a few kind of test runs of this to see what happens exactly, I think, because this is going to end the game. And what we can do is we can stick a breakpoint in the attack here, and we can skip over the game ending. Okay, there. Right. So we're using the Slack client at the moment, so let's join the game. DV. Alphabot's come back. We're going to go into the building. Get all the items in the building. Light the lamp. I'm thinking not at the moment. And then we're going to teleport. If we look here, we should see a snake barring our way. So if we go ADV kill snake, then we've hit the snake hisses. Do you want to use your bare hands? And it's not weighted, as it's not weighted for our. It's just killed us. Okay, so why has that happened? Let's skip over the game ending period there and go back to here. So we want the attack command, which is here. This is where we run into this issue, isn't it? Interactions don't really work very well here. I'm going to need to think of a different way of asking yes or no. So what's happened is we've done this. We've printed this. And so why doesn't the same thing happen with the dragon? Why doesn't the same thing happen with the dragon? Because we don't do an attack. Okay, so that's the thing. I think that the attack here is the interaction which actually does stuff rather than anything else. So if you say yes, so we need to end the game at this point, don't we? We don't have, so we need a game end interaction. So let's do that. Okay. So our interactions, so these are like kind of mini. The interactions are like mini commands. They enable you to chain kind of commands together, actions together, in a kind of a script. So we need an end game. So let's create a new interaction. Player dies. Player dies. So let's have a look at interaction. Interaction inherits some I action. Okay. Or implements the I action interface. Let's implement that. That has a do. The do is going to be. The do is going to simply be. Those two things. Player dies is going to be. So do we have access to game? Let's have a look. Add moves. Yeah, we do have access to the game. So we need to create a constructor here. It's going to be the player dies constructor. It's simply going to be passing in the game. like that. Oops. Game is game. That's going to be underscore G. And we want a read-only adventure game. Return true from that interaction. Will the player die though? That's the other question. So let's give this a go. So this is simply going to be return. Like that, and then what we want to do here is, if you say you want to attack with your bare hands, then the snake sinks its envenomed fangs into your softly yielding flesh. Venomed fangs. And then we want to have, yes, start registering interactions, add, player dies, and we initialize that with game. Okay. Of course, this doesn't. No, we're okay. No, we're okay. We can do things. I don't think we need to call attack. So let's go here. If it's a creature, I think that is what we want to do there. If it's not a creature, we call attack, and we never get the what was the point of that kind of message. Because in this case, you either attack with your bare hands, and it either works or it doesn't, and it's not going to work very often. Or then you have to come back and attack using a weapon, which we haven't done yet. And that'll be next time. I think we'll do that. Okay. So, where's the snake? So the player's going to die here. If we say yes, we want to attack with our bare hands. If we say no, we're not going to, then it should say I don't blame you. So let's try that again. We want to have, yeah, okay. We should be able to say no, don't attack with our bare hands, and we should stop and not continue with our action. Okay, let's join the game again. Take everything. So Copper Beard, if you're still there, how's your stream? What have you been doing? You're still working on your university project? So we'll teleport to where the snake lives. So if we look here, we'll see the snake in front of us, and we're going to say ADV bird snake. Do you just want to use your bare hands? We'll say ADV no. I don't blame you. And now we'll say ADV kill snake. You're doing your assignment. Need a head break, yeah. You pop marbles up on stream. I don't blame you. So if we say ADV yes here, this should kill us. Yeah, there we are. So we got 30 points. You earned 30, so we need to sort that out. That message says hey 30 points in one move. Okay. So that seems to have worked, doesn't it? So the next creature we need to so we need to code this to do code attacked with weapon. So we'll come back and do that in a bit. So the troll then. So the troll's not going to. We're not going to be killed by the troll. The troll's just going to. You attack with your bare hands. It's just going to brush you aside and say pay troll. So let's grab this code and go and find our troll. So it's an item. It's down here. Bruce Lane 06, hi, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. We're working on our text adventure at the moment. So we've got a troll here. This troll. Okay, so this is now. So, yep, okay. So what we don't want the kill interaction here. We want to have a player saying yes to attacking with bare hands, and we want like a default interaction. So let's just copy that across. There's our interaction. Okay, so this is fairly simple. If you say yes, you want to attack with your bare hands. Is it going to be basically pretty much the same as this, isn't it? We're just going to say that. Try to attract the troll, but its foul breath drives you back. So what we'll say is you say you as you approach the hideous troll. Power breath drives you back. The creatures. Power breath drives you back. Okay, so that's what happens if you try to attack the troll with your bare hands. So when we're going to adjust the attack method's got to be adjusted to have a weapon passed into it. C#. It's not for Unity. It's just what it is. It is C#, and we have this is part of our chatbot, but it's a multi-client chatbot. So the bot interacts with Twitch chat, with Slack, and with Discord. So this is it's going to be. I'm going to try and make it a multiplayer text adventure, which is based upon the Colossal Cave adventure from the 70s, and quite a lot of it's written. So we're in kind of nitty gritty now, trying to refactor and smarten up some of the code. When you're writing a large project like this, sometimes some of the decisions you make seem like the best idea at the time, but then as you kind of build on it, it starts to kind of get a bit unwieldy. One of the approaches I took was, because there's so little fighting in the game, I scripted the response to attacking creatures on the creature themselves, and that's fine. We're still doing that to an extent, but it meant that you couldn't really attack. You couldn't have a response to attacking like the mailbox or a door or a vending machine or whatever else you find. And this enables me to do that, and also to now I'm going to have kind of the idea of wielding a weapon and it behaving differently if you're using just your bare hands to attacking. In fact, it's not a attackable interface as such. You can only attack creatures, and today what we've done is we've created a new derived class. So we've got an iAdventure item interface. From that we implement iAdventure item, and now what we're doing is we've got an iAdventure creature, well, an adventure creature, which is also an implementation of that. So it's kind of layering on the classes to give the slightly different functionality. But iAttackable would be a possibility, yes. So all the items in this folder here, yes, so they're all they're all attackable in a sense, but basically the response to being attacked, the default response is I'm not sure why you're trying to attack a mailbox. That's not very productive. So I'm not sure why to give something. I'm not sure why you're trying to give food to a leaflet. You know, that kind of default behaviour, which we were lacking before. We had to kind of script all the things. So yeah, so all the monsters are also items. So if we say a dwarf, you'll see this is an adventure creature. So this is a new concept we came up with today. So it has slightly different characteristics. The dwarves they're a problem in the game at the moment because we never actually instantiate an adventure creature, which is a dwarf. The dwarves are actually wandering monsters, and they are currently controlled by a monster manager, and they're not actually instantiated as items. So I could very much bring out creatures and bring these into creatures, certainly. But that's a very good idea. Why don't we just do that? Let's have a folder. Where's the new folder? Let's have a creatures folder. I like your thinking. So originally, bird was going to be a creature, but the bird actually is a part of a puzzle. So it's not going to end up being a creature in its own right. So let's move those into the creatures area. Well, let's do build because that's probably caused an issue. We'll find out where those issues are. Okay, let's now adjust the namespace. Sort this one out as well. So thank you for that. It's a good idea. Let's all get ourselves organised as we mean to go on. Sure, that will cause a problem. Let's build. Okay, there we go. Okay, that builds now. The dollar and curly braces is string interpolation in C#, Bruce. So that's what that is. Okay, so we're working on the troll. So the troll, what's it going to do? It's going to be driven back. Just wants to be paid, and if you attack it, then its foul breath drives you back. So attack has got to change. We've got to have an adventure item of a weapon that we're going to pass in here, and we'll default that to unknown. So when do we reference this? So the only time we reference it is there. That's good. Okay, so let's alter our definition of attack then. So we'll pass another adventure item in. That's a weapon. And then we need to adjust this. And okay, so what we're going to have it do is take the weapon off you. So it snatches. So we're going to say this is a string interpolation here, so it snatches. So this is going to be weapon name. Now we need to take that out of the player's inventory. Okay, so that's going to be interaction so far. Lose weapon. So it's a new remove from inventory. Let's go and look at the definition for remove from inventory. So we need to set it up. So we're going to pass the player and the item in. Okay. And then we're going to say lose weapon.do. Okay. What does a snake do when attacked with a weapon? We'll have to decide what the snake, because you can't defeat the snake with a weapon. What's a dwarf manager? So a dwarf manager is what's we've got a system of wandering monsters basically, and with the wandering monsters, they move around. At a certain point in the game, when you get past the entrance caves, you drop down into the main cave. At that point, my event manager kicks in, and it instantiates two wandering monster managers. There's a dwarf manager and a pirate manager. Dwarf manager basically moves about 4 or 5 dwarves around the dungeon, and basically they will actually, if they come within a certain number of rooms of the player, they will then start to follow the player, and so you can end up with 3 or 4 dwarves attacking you in the same corridor if you're unlucky. The pirate's slightly different. The pirate kind of wanders around in different areas, and it kind of sneaks up in the shadows and steals all your treasure and then vanishes, and it puts the treasure in a maze, and then you have to make your way through the maze of twisty turny passages all alike in order to it's like a controller, yeah, but it manages the movement basically. So we're going to need to default this. Okay, so attack. So once again, we're doing stream of consciousness programming at the moment. So we've kind of gone past the refactoring stage and now enter new code. So what we do on the stream is we write what seems to be the best code to get the functionality working. And then refactor. So this is what we're in at the moment. We're just writing the code, which is the simplest code to get what we want to happen for each of the creatures actually working the way we want it. So this is basically, if you attack, this should never happen, but what we'll do is we'll just do So if you tap the troll, which is the snake, this is the troll. It's okay. So here, we don't want to do the player dies interaction there. And here we're just going to have it say exactly the same thing. There's no weapon involved. Then for now, we'll just do this, and then we'll work out the best way to reduce the amount of repeated code. So let's put that in, and then code here. So that's the troll. The snake kills you, but we need to deal with a weapon, don't we? Okay, we'll worry about that in a moment. Let's go and test the troll out. So let's go find our that. The troll bridge. We want our teleport test command. This is going to be west of chasm. Okay, let's go and confront the troll. We need a weapon. So we need to write that bit of code first. So what's the time? We've got some time. Let's see if we can write the attack. Okay, so this is going to be very similar to give. So what I want to do is to where is it? My null commands. Command registry, is it in there? No. Command handler. So we'll add the word with and the word using into our list of null words that we're going to remove from our command arguments. I have started to refactor. Well, refactoring is my favourite activity in coding, to be honest with you, Chris. So, sorry, yeah, D2A. Oh, link slumps, isn't it? Yeah, that's my favourite my favourite activity. So, I do enjoy doing that. Player dice can go, move can go, feature can go, little axe can go. I think we want give. We've done this kind of stuff before. I think we're going to be able to kind of do a refactor where we take the common code and put them into helpers. But let's just, for now, we're going to make an assumption, which I think is a valid one, in attack. The ARG1 is going to be the victim. Our weapon is going to be ARGs 2. I'm going to lower that. Okay. So now we need to identify what those items actually are. In give, we can determine whether the player's got the weapon. Okay, so that's what we want. So we can say in attack, and this is once again the weapon. So they haven't got the weapon. then we can print out a suitable message. So we can then say, I don't know what we're going to say, player, client, chat, player, chat client, direct message, post direct message, player, we can say you are not carrying then we can return from that point. I think it's a void. Yeah. Okay, so imagine, so they have got there, then is it a weapon? So we need to now grab that item. So in the give we can see here we can grab it here. So we can say over here, item inventory is that, so this is weapon. So then we can say if not item inventory dot is weapon. You cannot fight with okay, so now we have got a weapon. And what we can do at this point is we can say, okay, we need our victim. So this code here. So we're probably better off determining that whether we've got a target at all. Not equal to null. And we can do that bit of code. So we know we've got, so now we want to say target dot attack player target and then we can just do a message there. We can see I'm not sure who, I'm sure what you are trying to attack. And what happens up here if there isn't a target? You can return there. No, we don't need to do that. same thing. Probably not the right message at this point. We'll tidy up the messaging in a moment. So let's we need to equip ourselves with a weapon. We've got an axe, so we should be able to fight the troll with the axe and see what happens. Okay. With the snake, then we need to figure out what the snake's going to do. We'll cross that bridge in a second. Okay, let's see what happens with this. Come on. So ADV starts the game for us. You join the game. So it is kind of ostensibly it's going to be multiplayer. So we have more than one person can go into the adventure, and you can talk to each other. And it mentions if you're in the same room as somebody else. We've got to work on the give command, so you can give items to each other. You can speak to each other. There's kind of problems in it being multiplayer in that in some cases if you haven't got the key, for example, and someone uses the key and then locks the door after them, then you can't get through. So we need to work on the map we're using is this map. Okay, so we need to expand the map slightly to have multiple entrances. Currently there's the classic entrance through the grate and in through this kind of passageway here. But we need to have alternative ways in, or multiple keys perhaps, but at the moment that's a bit of a problem. So ADV kill mailbox. Why do you want to attack a small mailbox? I'm not sure what you're trying to attack. Okay, so this message here is probably now superfluous, isn't it? I'm not sure what you're trying to, but we'll leave that for the moment. I'll tidy that in a second. Okay, so now if we go in and grab everything, light our lamp again. Use our test command to teleport to the troll. Should see a troll, so we should say ADV kill troll with axe. You try to attack the troll, but it snatches a small axe from your puny grasp and casts it into the chasm. If we do ADV in for now, we should have lost. Yeah, and we have. We no longer have the small axe. So that's worked quite nicely. So the troll has pinched the item. So if we now say ADV kill troll, and you say Johnny with bare hands, this is an error, so we need to get rid of that. And then we say yes, and it says what ADV yes, and it says this approach Theseus troll. It points its iron yells, "Pay troll!" The creature's foul breath drives you back, gasping for air. Okay, so that seems to be working quite nicely. So let's go and do some tidying up. So we figured actually we didn't need on the attacks. We didn't necessarily need that. The target was none at that point. Let's just comment that out. And that out. Try that again. Murder the mailbox. Why are you trying to attack a small mailbox? Okay. Go in. ADV kill troll. It's not responded at that point. That's what that code was supposed to be about. So let's have a look. So let's uncomment that one. In. ADV kill troll. Zerka, thank you very much for the follow. That's very kind of you. Have some electric elf hype for the follow. So thank you very kindly. This is one of our 3D, well not 3D. This is our pixel shader. It's kind of got some 3D elements to it, but yeah, we've got quite a few shaders. This is the hyperspatial hype. It's my favourite of our shaders. We have a bunch of them. If you're interested in shader programming, I have a whole series of that on my YouTube channel. So right from first principles. So let's find my YouTube channel there. Thank you, Circa. Yeah, we enjoy doing the shaders. There's a really nice flying over completely generated terrain, which is quite nice. Check that out. So up on Shader Toy as well, but some of the Shader Toy ones aren't quite as good as what we developed on stream because there's certain limitations with Shader Toy graphically. So in terms of kind of uploading images, so it's remaining silent at kill troll. So let's pop a breakpoint in this point, and then we'll do ADV control. So I think what we need to do is uncomment that one. This, I think we need that. So I'll change this. I can't see anything like that to attack. Okay, is it going to go? You got an exam in 50 minutes on organisational behaviour, and you're watching a stream. Link slumps. That's a bit kind of. Oh, I couldn't do that. I'll be there. I'll be there. But actually, it's not true. There was a time when I would actually cram up until when the exam starts, but on my way through A levels and university, I discovered that was really counterproductive, so I wouldn't advise you to do it. What I would always do is make sure that I had, before the exam, I would not, so on the day of the exam, I would not do any revision for that exam, possibly for any exam. The night before the exam, I'd have the evening off and chill out watching TV or playing role-playing games or whatever. And the other thing that I don't know what it's like where you take your exams, avoid, like the plague, anyone going into the exam or coming out of the exam. Do not engage in talk with people about how much you've revised before the exam, and do not discuss the results and how hard it was or how easy you found it or what the answers were with people coming out of the exam. There's nothing worse. When did I start programming? I started programming a long time ago. So when I was at university, we had an ICL mainframe. We programmed with punch cards and Fortran. So that's quite a while back. So that would be in the early 80s. That's when I really started. Before then, I started really as what in those days was called a computer hobbyist. So my first computer was actually a circuit board with a full keyboard soldered to it, and it was just an open circuit board with a 6502 processor on there and things like that. It had 8K of RAM, and we kind of thought that was great. So that's when I started, so a long time ago, to be honest. So yeah, I've got plenty of experience in development and also in management of development teams. So that's what I do professionally. I'm a development team manager, but I'm very hands-on in terms of writing lots of code. So if you've got any questions about that kind of thing, about career or management or whatever. How do I manage to stay on top of tech? Well, we use fairly up-to-date tech at work, but also do things like this stream. So on this stream we've done plenty of kind of .NET Core stuff, which is obviously the new .NET Core framework. We've worked on AI chatbots using the Microsoft bot framework. We've written Alexa skills, or an Alexa skill. We've written secure web API using JWT bearer tokens. We've done our GLSL shaders. We've done some C++ programming. We've done some F# programming. We've even done some Node.js, which is well outside my comfort zone. So one of the reasons to start streaming was not only to kind of better myself, but also to give something back to the development community and show that you can, as a developer, no matter how much old you are, you can still learn new stuff, and that all your skills you've got are transferable. There's so many fads, yeah. So I agree there are fads, and there's nothing more faddy than the latest JavaScript framework. But Node.js is fairly established, and I enjoyed working with Gatsby.js, because that kind of was a good lead into React. So that's what I kind of worked on. You're a React developer, so I really enjoyed working on Gatsby because it was an easy way of getting used to React. So yeah, that was good, and we did about 5 streams on that. I did a portfolio website for myself. Steep learning curve. Well, that's why it's gentler with Gatsby, because you're dealing with static website. You haven't got to deal with state so much. .NET Core, yes, .NET Core ASP, .NET Core, things like that for websites. I really enjoy using, but I'm not a front-end developer, so I'm a back-end developer. And so that's why I challenged myself by not only writing a front-end system, but using Node.js. Yes, it's definitely, Gatsby is definitely the easiest learning curve, and so you do get a flavour of React that way. So that was fun. I've also done some Vue, not very much though. I do intend to do a project using Vue at some point. So that skips right over there, hasn't it? That's actually landed there. So this, I believe, probably needs to live outside there. I can hear a cat meowing outside. I'm going to ignore it though. Let's try that again. There's another guy that's building a simple website. He's not much React experience. I recommend Gatsby to him. Yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go, because the skills you learn at Gatsby are definitely transferable to full React. It's just a gentler introduction, and then you can, once you've got the basics of writing your React components, then you can start doing things like with Redux and all that kind of stuff. So kill the troll. So I can't see anything like that to attack. Okay, so let's go in. Yes, all. Reports. Spell. That's interesting. So oh, where am I? Oh, there should be a troll here. There's a large troll. Why didn't it find the troll? That's interesting. So why all of a sudden are we failing to kill the troll? So let's put a breakpoint here. Oh, there it is. That's come up there. So assault troll didn't. I thought assault was a synonym. Why has it said that? I can't see anything like that to attack. ATB troll. Yeah, this is the problem we've got here, isn't it? So we're going to need to remove that, and I'm going to have her to do what if target is not present. Present and was bare-handed weapon. Let's put that back. So if I here it's here, isn't it? So if the target is null, I'm going to return there, and then we're going to put the to do in here. just quickly try that. So now if I go here and say kill troll, we're going to have it just silent. Oh, I can't see the light to attack, that's good. Why did it hit that? Okay. Let's see what happens when we're actually in the presence of the troll. V teleport. Right. So that's better. Okay, drives us back. So that's good. That seems to be working okay. Which is a bonus. So that seems to be working regardless by the look of it. So we'll just remove that comment for now, and then come back when we do some more testing on this. We can work on that. So now we've got a snake. So here, what we're going to do, we're going to say player chat clients, post direct message to player. Snake hisses horribly. This time I'm going to say you are so startled that you drop your name. So what we're going to do is going to remove the item from the inventory, and we're going to place it in the room with the snake. So you can pick up your weapon again, but it's actually in the room that the snake is guarding. So this is the code we want to do here. So let's just grab all this, and what we'll do is we'll refactor this into common code. So this is going to be a weapon. So we're going to go and test that. Okay, so in the teleport we're going to go back to the Hall of Mountain King. And we're going to fight the snake with the axe. And this should be, it should mean that the snake makes us drop the axe and the axe appears beyond our reach, which is a fair thing. So the snake's not going to kill us unless we are foolish enough to attack with our bare hands. Okay, so ADV, go in. Grab everything in the room. Teleport to our test area, Hall of the Magic King. We have a look. Should be a snake, there is. ADV kill snake. Axe. It hisses at you. You are so startled that you drop your small axe. ADV in. We should no longer have an axe, which we don't. ADV look. So the small axe is in the room. I think we can just grab the axe again. Yeah, we can do, that's fine. Okay, so that's good. So what happens with the dragon? Let's go and have a look at the dragon again. So the dragon, what happens when we attack it with a weapon? So it's gonna. Should we have it? It's a green dragon. It needs to destroy the weapon, doesn't it? It's a bit like the troll in many ways. Snake. Have we got null handling? We haven't. So what we'll do is if not equal to null, then we get all that stuff there. Okay, that's that. And troll dragon. So dwarf is the remaining enigma. So we need. I'm going to need to start thinking about dwarf. I think for the next stream. Okay, so we're going to do very similar thing to this. Just do the same kind of code, same kind of thing. Trying to attract the dragon, but it breathes acid, and your dissolves in your hand. You drop the syringe and hit quickly. So you drop the ruined weapon and it quickly dissolves into nothing, into a pool of slag. Puddle. Okay. So let's go and face the dragon and try and fight it with an axe. So we need to change this, and this is going to be secret, the East-West Canyon. Go and do that. Right. This should be the last thing we'll do this evening, I think. Make sure that this actually works. Of course, attacking the dragon with your bare hands is the solution. You kill it with your bare hands. That's the ridiculous solution to the puzzle. Oh, so we're just going to attack it with our weapon. Now I'm sure there's some bugs in all this. We haven't done it anywhere near enough testing, so I should probably write some unit tests at some point as well to cover it off. But I think there's enough here to work with, and we'll find there's some edge cases where we get multiple messages that don't make any sense. But that's something to worry about when we do a bit more testing, actual using gameplay testing. ADV teleport. So I'm going to go west and meet the dragon. We've got the dragon facing us on a beautiful Persian rug. Slay dragon. ADV no, so hopefully it should say I don't blame you. ADV kill dragon with axe. ADV inv. No, that nothing there. ADV look, shouldn't be an axe on the floor. And there isn't, but the dragon's still there. Charge that dragon, but it breathes acid at your small axe. You drop the ruined small axe and it quickly dissolves into a puddle of slag. Nice. Okay, so I'm quite pleased in a way with what we've done. There's a few rough edges which we can refactor away. Some repeated code which we need to address. But on the whole, I think the refactoring into the adventure creature concept, and then thank you for the chat that suggested put them in their own folder, and the way we've managed to use interactions a bit better. So let's go, well, before we finish actually, let's go and have a look at the small axe. Where's little axe? Little axe. That's here. So here we kind of throw. You can throw the axe. So this is interaction on the axe and not an interaction with the dwarf. This is valid still, I think. What we need is we need to build the code for attacking the dwarf. And that's going to be a bit trickier because there isn't a dwarf item in the room. There's a wandering monster in the room. Actually, that reminds me, adventure player. I think there's something we need to do in here. Yeah, expand to find wandering monsters. So we need to have the equivalent of this in here, I think. monster manager. We need to pass a monster manager in. Okay, well we can do that with that default. We'll have to be a bit careful about that. Okay, that's good. Let's build that and make sure everything's happy. Hi there, it's Listening. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Have some electric elf hype to welcome you in. Fix that now. That's by adventure player. The difference here is either by string or by the actual item, the adventure item. This is an enum, this is a string. So we haven't really got any use for finding dwarves with this method yet. But we're going to have to use that, because when people say over in the attack here, when they say when we've got here victim, and the victim happens to be dwarf, we're going to have to do different things. So we could do with passing a monster manager in at that point, except that we won't find an item in the current location that matches it. So that's where the the whole thing about the wandering dwarfs is the problem. My music is drowning me out, is it? Okay, so I've been having some issues with ever since the last Windows update. I've had kind of audio issues. So last time I had quite a lot of gating. So I think I've sorted that out back in Windows settings, but that's better. Thanks, great, it's great. Thanks for letting me know. I'm using VB as a mixer. Is that voice meter? I'm not using voice meter at all now. I'm just using the OBS mixing. So it's not an advanced audio setup. You have similar problems with updates, yes. So I've found, now it's not happened very often, but certain updates, it resets the levels inside Windows 10, and I'm not sure why it does it, or what kind of update it is that does it. So I can go for months and months and months and never touch any of my audio settings. Everything will be fine, and then let's say last stream they couldn't hear me, and then I because we was actually on stream, I didn't want to go fiddling around inside my PC, so I did a boost in OBS, and what that caused was gating to start. So I really needed to adjust my noise filters as well, but I didn't have time to do that while trying to run a stream. So the audio was a bit choppy on the last video that was up on YouTube. So hopefully this will be a bit better. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know that a lot of people who use things like Voice Meter, Potato, or Banana, they have a lot of issues with audio and being different from session to session. And I'd like to use something like Voice Meter because it gives that kind of good mixing. But I've heard so many bad things about it in terms of problems with audio that I'm steering clear at the moment, just keeping it simple. You have had a problem with Potato, so I think a lot of people use Banana, don't they? Voice Meter Banana, and it seems a bit complicated to set up. Updates resetting, yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to keep my audio as simple as possible at the moment, because on the whole it tends to work okay. But it's good to know you've had good good experience with Voice Meter Potato, because that might be a way forward. Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got? What plans with the questions? Then we need to look at that. So if they, at the moment we're only actually, what does happen? Let's just have a look and see what happens while we're thinking about it. We probably won't do anything about it, but let's just see. Let's go back to the dragon. Get everything. To our lamp. I must get this shortened to A, exclamation point A. ADV is too long. Teleport. West. Kill dragon. ADV potato. What does it do? Don't understand the verb potato. So that seems to be fine, doesn't it? I don't think there's anything else we need to do. I think on the face of it, we should be able to close that comment off. So let's have a look at what the do's are. So this is going to be general on the whole of the command. So let's put some letters up here. So implement ability to attack wandering monsters, i.e. dwarves. And I think what I'm going to think the approach probably will be to when we're in the same room as a dwarf, is to actually instantiate a dwarf creature in the room, so we can use that. But then we have to tie it back to the Wandering Monster Manager. So Copperbeard says use Voice Meter Potato. Has a few issues, but most of the time it's you fiddling about with everything. Yeah. So that's fiddling with my OBS settings is the last thing I ever want to do, unless someone reports an audio issue. But I always try to go back to my kind of known good settings. I've just dropped this down to -22 decibels on the music. That's good information. Streamlabs. I used to use Streamlabs before I went back to OBS. I enjoyed Streamlabs, but I had some issues with it. It seemed a bit flaky on updates, and I lost some settings. Luckily, I had it installed on two computers, so I managed to get my overlays. The overlays that you get with Streamlabs are very, very good. But now I think you can import overlays from Streamlabs directly into OBS. So you can kind of design you can download Streamlabs, you can design your overlays, use the templates, and then pull them straight into OBS. So yeah. So yeah, I did like the cloudiness, as you say, the cloud-based nature of it stored all your settings and your overlays and things up in your scenes up in the cloud. I like that. At the moment, I have to export XML files. Yeah, but I find I'm going to touch a load of wood here. I find OBS a bit more stable than Streamlabs, but I haven't used Streamlabs now for at least 8 months, so it may well have improved. So that was my kind of issue with it, really. Okay, I think we made that comment there. I think we're going to finish. What's the time? 10 to 11. Yeah, it's time for me to finish. So I think what I'm going to do is to push all this up into GitHub. Now, all the code we write on Codebase Alpha is under the MIT license. It's fully open source. You can go and download it. You can change it. You can do whatever you want with it. If you'd like to contribute, then please do raise issues or PRs. But otherwise, feel free to take the code and do whatever you want with it. So the bot that this game runs in is a Slack, Discord, and Twitch chat bot. It's got a number of commands, including some AI commands. It's got a kind of a question, exclamation point ask command, which you can ask any question, and it will go and search the internet and come back with an answer to your question. Not always the right answer, but it will come back with an answer. So that's quite cool. And there's a few other things like we link out to an API for rocket launches. One of the things that I'm really into is space and rockets. So there's a command to go and do that. In fact, let's give you a quick. I'll just push this up to GitHub, and then I'll show you a couple of the commands that we've got. Link that up. We'll run our bot again. So normally on a normal stream, when I'm not working on the bot, this will be running all the time. So for example, we can type in launches, and by default it will give us upcoming SpaceX launches. You can see there's a Starlink 6 on the 22nd of April there, and most exciting of all, there's Demo 2 launching American astronauts on an American rocket from American soil for the first time. Then we got our ask. So if I put exclamation point ask what is SpaceX, for example, just as a do SpaceX. Let's see what it comes back there. It says Space Exploration Technologies Corporation. So you can ask anything. So what is? I've been looking at a programming language called Hacks recently. So let's see if it knows what. I'll ask what is Hacks. So exclamation point what is Hacks. Let's see if it knows. Hacks is a high-level cross-platform multi-paradigm programming language for games. So there you go. So that's the bot that the bot does. There's a few other commands as well, but I think commands. I'm not sure. Can't remember. So yeah, that's the bot. So if you want to play with the bot, go ahead. Stop it. We've also got my Discord channel, which is here. My YouTube channel, where all of the Codebase Alpha streams are all archived. So it goes back well over a year now. I think there's with this one there'll be 88 episodes on there, most of them between 2 and 3 hours long. And said loads of different projects on there. So Alexa Skill, websites, AI bots using the bot framework from Microsoft, audio programming. We wrote a synthesizer in WPF. There's a whole gamut. Z80 emulator with a Spectrum 48K emulation as well. Just emulates all the games except it doesn't do sound. That's the only thing we didn't do. A whole bunch of different stuff up there for you to look at. So do take a look at that. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, then my Twitter handle is @CodebaseAlpha. Thank you very much, Links. You do follow my repos, yes. I noticed you on there at the start, some of them. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to Twitch and find somebody to raid. I think I'm just going to move this onto another screen so you don't get blinded. So let's find someone to raid, shall we? So I think we're going to raid. Let's raid CM Griffin. So we'll see you again this same time next Monday. At the moment I'm just streaming once a week, mainly due to the fact that we've had a few issues at home in the past few months, and now we're in lockdown, so it's quite exhausting. So I'll see you then, and do enjoy this raid. Stay with the raid and do spam chat with your favourite emotes as we go to raid CM Griffin. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.